Stay. Stuck on my shirt.
Okay. And I'm doing it on the overhead, and you guys are going to take notes, so make sure you have a pencil.
Oh, more notes?
Yep. You're going to do it on the graphic organizer.
Okay.
Whoa, that didn't work. It should work. What's going on here? All right. Okay, guys. I want you to look at your graphic organizer. This is an argumentative essay brainstorming organizer. This is what you're going to use before you write your essay. So let's take a look at this. Okay, so I'm going to do what I did for mine, and you just write the same thing down. So my topic that I chose was hybrid cars. Hybrid cars.
I have Nissan.
About how they're back or good.
Like a Prius.
I just put my topic down. Just follow along. Hybrid cars.
You write that down too?
1 or 2 words is all that goes into the topic, so that when I look at it, I'm going to talk about hybrid cars. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about, or I'm going to put in here, is a lead or a hook. So one of the leads or hooks. Now, first of all, what is a lead or a hook? Okay, something that draws the reader in. So the one that I chose to use for this is a startling statistic. Startling statistic. So write that down, please. And I found a statistic for my hook that is 1 in 8 deaths attributed to outdoor air pollution. Okay, now remember, you don't have to write it in complete sentences. As a matter of fact, you don't want to. One in 8 deaths attributed to outdoor air pollution. Somehow, I'm going to work that into my hook to get people to want to read. Okay? Now, you're going to be writing a 5-paragraph essay. No more, no less. Paragraph 1 is your introduction, and that's what we're working on in the first box, just the introduction. So after you do your lead or your hook, you're going to state your claim. So, Wyatt, what is a claim again? Say it again. My statement of belief. So my statement of belief is going to be drive hybrid versus gasoline powered cars. Drive hybrid versus gasoline powered cars. Now, Reagan, from looking at the graphic organizer, after I give the claim statement, what do I put in behind it there? What's it say to put in next? Look at the claim statement with the plus sign. And then? Okay, so you have to use the word, and I'm going to ask you all to use the word because, and I want you all to use it in your essay too, please. Because, and then I'm going to put argument 1, and my first one is private cars are the largest offenders. That's my first one. Private cars are the largest offenders. My second argument, am I going too fast? Okay, all right. My second argument is that hybrids produce less air pollution than gas cars. So I've got my claim statement, my word because, my argument 1, my argument 2, and now my argument 3 is a little different because that's where I'm going to put my rebuttal. And so my rebuttal, which brings them back to my side from the counterclaim, is mass transit is not practical solution. Mass transit is not a practical solution. What do I mean by mass transit? Raise your hand. Yes.
Like buses.
Buses, trains. They're talking about doing a trolley in downtown Fargo now. Things that,
What's a trolley like that? Thing that goes on the wire?
yeah, with the electric wire. They are, yeah.
I want one of those.
Okay, we're going to stay on task here. All right, thank you. Okay, so now I am done with all that I'm going to put in my introduction. This is one paragraph. That's paragraph 1. Okay, so now I'm going to go down to paragraph 2. And it says, what reasons will you give to convince your reader that your stand is the right one? So under argument 1, which is paragraph 2, I'm going to look up here, and actually I can just copy this and paste it down here. That's my first argument. Private cars are the largest offenders. And actually, I need to have this back. I want to bullet it. Whoops. That didn't do what I wanted it to. Okay. I like to use bullets in the graphic organizer because then you don't waste time with complete sentences, which you don't need to do because this isn't your essay. You do that in the essay. Okay, so now I have my argument. Now I have to find supporting details, facts, statistics, quotes, examples from the text. So the first thing that I found was from the EPA. Does anyone know what EPA stands for?
Executive.
Environment. Go ahead. Right. I went on the Environmental Protection Agency site, and there I found this fact. Gas cars are largest source of private versus public air pollution. So that's a fact that I'm going to use to back up my belief statement, my claim. Gas cars are the largest source of private versus public air pollution. So in other words, private meaning private citizens, not corporations that are spewing out CO2, but private individuals, private families.
So like on a trolley, does that take gas or is it just like electric?
It's electric. Okay, then also, and now you need at least 2 to 3 pieces of supporting details. I went to a site called Union of Concerned Scientists. Union of Concerned Scientists. Write this down, please, Dylan. Thank you. And on that site, I found some other information I wanted to use. I found that, gas cars emit carbon dioxide and that contributes to global warming. On the Union of Concerned Scientists website, I found that gas cars emit carbon dioxide, which contributes to global warming. Now, on the same site, I found another piece of information that I want to use. And I guess I would probably call this a statistic. And it's cars and trucks contribute to over 1/5 of United States' total global warming. Cars and trucks contribute to over 1/5 of U.S. total global warming. That's a lot when you think about it. Okay, then I'm going to go back up here and I'm going on to, which argument am I on now, guys? 2. So I'm going to copy hybrids produce less air pollution than cars, and I'm going to copy that. And that's going in paragraph 3. It's my second argument. I'm going to put it right there. Oops. Come on. And I'm going to bullet it. Move it in. All right, so now I have to have my supporting detail for this. Hybrids produce less air pollution than gasoline cars. And one of the facts that actually I knew myself, and I think most of you do, is that hybrids combine gas with battery-powered engines. Hybrids combine gas with battery-powered engines. So I'm explaining this right here, and I'm supporting it by saying which emits less pollution. Emits less pollution. Okay, so then I found this site that was very credible. It's a .org, and it's called have you noticed I put the name of the sites down on my graphic organizer?
Yeah, so they can just go back to it.
Exactly. Good point, Dylan. And then when you do your Works Cited page, you know where you had your information. Okay, so on there's no space there, I need to know.org, I found this information. That hybrid Prius produces, and I'm going to use a statistic here to back it up, 90% fewer harmful emissions than gas engine does. That's huge. Hybrid such as Prius produces 90% fewer harmful emissions than a gas engine.
What's a hybrid car?
It's in the bullet right above it. Okay, so then I wanted a third piece of information, and I wanted it from a different site. So I went to the U.S. Department of Energy, and I looked around, did research there, and I found that, and this was interesting, on a 100-mile trip, let's say you take a 100-mile trip, gas cars emit 87 pounds, not labs, 87 pounds of, I don't know why I thought that was funny, but I did, of CO2. I'm such a dork. Okay. Of CO2, and I've got to go up here, subscript, okay, of CO2, but a hybrid emits, for the same trip, 100-mile trip, 57 pounds of CO2.
That is low.
Yeah, it's a lot. Okay, so I've got my argument. I've got my 3 things that I'm backing it up. Here I've got my argument, my 2 things I'm backing up with my supporting details. Okay, questions so far? All right, so now argument 3 is a little different because down here is where you're going to be doing the counterclaim. And I'm just going to get this on the next page so it doesn't confuse us here. Okay, so now I'm going to do the counterclaim. Now, once again, what is, Casey, a counterclaim? My claim is that hybrid cars, people should...
Like the opposite of
It's the opposite. So I did some digging around, and I did find a counterclaim to what I wanted to say. And, whoops, sorry. I got to go back one more yet, and down. There we go. Here's the counterclaim. Rather than worrying about hybrid cars, there should be a focus on mass transit. That's what the other side is saying. Quit worrying about trying to reduce emissions. Instead, let's ride together, people. And that is a pretty valid counterclaim. You know, let's start using subways and trains and trolleys and buses.
Does the subway emit any energy?
A lot of them are electric now. Okay, now the rebuttal has to be what, Isabel? What am I doing with the what am I doing with the rebuttal?
It's like the opposite of what you're trying to say.
No.
You're trying to prove your point.
I'm trying to bring them back to my side. Okay, here's the counterclaim. Rather than worrying about cars, you should worry about mass transit. I'm saying, here's my rebuttal. So I have to be reasonable and I don't want to be nasty about it. I say, and I went and I found a quote by a gentleman named S.E. Smith in a very reputable site and magazine from Technology Today. And I really agreed with what he said, especially being from a rural area. On there, he said, it's not possible in many rural and suburban areas. Think about the small towns of North Dakota. Think about Fargo. Can we afford a subway?
Probably not.
No, we can't. Think about our weather and riding in an open trolley. I mean, Broadway's one thing. That's kind of just designed to take people up and down, to be honest, mostly during the nighttime, you know, when they're eating out and stuff. But Arthur, where I'm from, Hunter, Castleton, Buffalo, Tower City, whatever, they can't afford to have whole buses take people to work. It just doesn't make sense financially, so it won't work. So that's my rebuttal. So now I'm going to look at the last paragraph, which is paragraph 5. Got to scroll down here. And what I want to do in paragraph 5 is restate my claim and my 3 reasons. So I'm going to restate my claim, choose hybrid versus gasoline, and remember you want to say it in a different way, cars, choose hybrid versus gasoline cars, and then I'm going to use the word because again. And here are my 3 reasons, same order as they were in the intro, same order in the body, you don't change the order. Private gasoline engine cars are harmful. Choosing hybrids will reduce air pollution. That was my second one, remember? And my third one was just my rebuttal. You don't want to say the counterclaim here because you're done acknowledging the other side. Mass transit is not realistic.
So you're like,
You're just restating your 3 points from up here
then when you
in a
say-
different way.
And then when you say your rebuttal, you kind of just like, oh, that's why the other side's wrong again.
No, because that's insulting the other side. What you want to do is you want to be respectful and acknowledge the other side, but you want to give your point without insulting anybody. So you wouldn't want to say they're wrong again, because that's an insult. And it's putting someone down, which isn't necessary. You can make your point without doing that. Okay, so then the very last thing of your 5th paragraph is your call to action. And let's see. Bridget, what's a call to action mean again?
Like telling people what they can do.
What they can do to make this happen. And so my call to action is when shopping for a car, choose a hybrid. When shopping for a car, choose a hybrid.